So the Penguin TV show is said and done. We got ourselves a full origin story of Oswald and things of that nature. And really, I thought it was okay. Like, I didn't think anything too special of it. I know whenever you look at other sites, you have audience loving it. I even saw people on Twitter saying how great it was. I mean, you're looking at 92, 95% with these shows and these reviews. I think IGN gave it the lowest score I could find. The final review, somewhat messy, but ultimately thrilling finale. And it seems like people liked it. I will say this much. If you were a fan of the Batman movie, you will be a fan of the Penguin TV show. It has the same atmosphere about it. It's less of a detective and more about just like one singular man, this man, going and trying to make a name for himself. And I think that's what the most endearing part about this show is the fact that Oz is what we the fact that Oswald, it basically is just a guy that thinks the system's against him and he doesn't care about breaking the rules. And so he's very down to earth, and they do a fantastic job at getting us to understand and relate to Oswald, which is so funny because the Penguin would be like the last person I thought I could ever relate to. Now, the things I didn't like about the show is that I felt like it overstayed its welcome. I felt like the episodes didn't need to be an hour long. They could have been cut down to 30 minutes. I also felt like this could have been played out as a movie or like a special of some sort. Like, you could have made this 2 hours long or an hour and a half long. A lot of things repeated themselves, or we got a lot of instances that didn't really need to happen. We have here the Hangman, who I thought was a great rival for Oswald. There was a mirror duality in the sense that, like, this was one person who was born into it and didn't have the respect of the people, and then you have the other person who wasn't born into it and had to gain the respect of the people. Both of them are kind of struggling on the same path, and they both want the same thing. And I think, like, you see how they're really the same person. They'll both sacrifice anything to fulfill their ambition. So I thought that the Hangman was a great counterpart to Oswald, because it wasn't a matter of like good versus evil. It was just like evil versus evil. And the difference with the Hangman, instead of like, I think they really got you to understand Oswald, and they got you to understand why he wants to do what he wants to do. But with the Hangman, I think I just like couldn't ever engage myself with her story. And that's mainly because that, like, it was very sentimental. It's very just like, she's been through a hard time. She didn't really choose to be a villain. She kind of just was forced down this path, and we see her making decisions that she feel like she's forced to make. But then we also, it's kind of like this mythological story where she keeps making one decision after the other, which end up leading to her downfall. Whereas Oswald chooses this path, and he knows he's choosing this path. And because we, the audience, like, see that he is ambitious about this, it becomes... It makes him more endearing. It makes him someone you want to follow and kind of like take part in this journey. However, the last couple episodes, you know, change his desires. Like, we get to see what his true desires are, what his anchoring point is. And I'm not the biggest fan of the whole mother storyline that was going on with Oswald and his brothers. And maybe that's because it felt like it was too shoehorned in, it was too pushed in, or maybe it felt like they were just trying to give the character more of a sentimental value like they did with the Hangman, and it just didn't really push itself to me. So basically, the show's great. The story, the writing, it all makes sense. It's all very cohesive, and it all just flows in a way that you want to watch more and you want to see how it develops and where it goes. I do think there are just episodes and storylines that are repetitive and drag themselves out, and the show just has a longer stay than that's actually needed. I also think that the sentimental value of the show pushes too far, and you kind of don't need to or want to care to feel sorry for these people. You just need to understand where they're at and why they want to be where they're at. And that's why I would probably give The Penguin like a 7.5 out of 10. Until next time, guys, play nice.